The year is 2025 and former President Donald Trump is back in the White House after a hard-fought election. As he embarks on his second non-consecutive term, the economy is a top priority. Trump has promised to deliver economic prosperity for all Americans. He has unveiled a new stimulus plan aimed at boosting the economy and providing relief to working families. This plan comes at a time when the economy is in relatively good shape, with low unemployment and steady growth. However, Trump argues that more needs to be done to secure a prosperous future for all Americans. Trump's stimulus plan is a departure from the traditional approach of direct stimulus checks. Instead, it focuses on tax cuts, deregulation, and other economic measures designed to stimulate growth. This approach reflects the evolving economic landscape and the changing political climate. While direct payments were a hallmark of the COVID-19 pandemic response, they are unlikely to be a part of this new stimulus package. The focus is now on long-term economic growth and sustainability, rather than short-term relief. Trump's plan has generated significant interest and debate. Supporters argue that it will unleash the potential of the American economy and create jobs. Critics, however, express concerns about the potential for increased inequality and the impact on the national debt. The debate over the plan is likely to be fierce, reflecting the deep divisions within American society. The coming months will be crucial as the Trump administration seeks to build support for its economic agenda. The success or failure of this plan will have a profound impact on the lives of millions of Americans and will shape the country's economic trajectory for years to come. It remains to be seen whether Trump's vision for economic prosperity will become a reality. However, one thing is certain: the stakes are high, and the debate is just beginning. The burning question on many Americans' minds is, will there be another round of stimulus checks? The short answer is, probably not. Despite the popularity of direct payments during the pandemic, the economic and political landscape has changed considerably. The economy is no longer in crisis mode, and the political appetite for large-scale spending programs has waned. One of the main reasons why stimulus checks are unlikely is the current state of the economy. Unemployment is low, GDP growth is steady, and inflation is nearing the Federal Reserve's target. In other words, the economy is not in dire need of a massive cash injection. Stimulus checks are typically reserved for times of economic distress, such as recessions or financial crises. Moreover, there is no current legislation in Congress proposing new stimulus checks. The Biden administration has shifted its focus to other priorities, such as infrastructure and climate change. Republicans, who control both houses of Congress, are even less likely to support direct payments, given their traditional emphasis on fiscal conservatism. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, the Federal Reserve is actively trying to control inflation. The Fed has already raised interest rates several times in recent months, and it is expected to continue doing so in the coming year. Additional stimulus spending, such as direct payments, would likely exacerbate inflation, which is the last thing the Fed wants to see. In conclusion, while stimulus checks were a welcome lifeline for many Americans during the pandemic, they are unlikely to make a comeback anytime soon. The economic and political conditions simply do not favor another round of direct payments. Instead, the focus is likely to remain on other economic measures, such as tax cuts, deregulation, and infrastructure spending. Trump's new stimulus plan is built around a core of tax relief measures aimed at stimulating economic growth and putting more money in the pockets of working Americans. These proposals represent a significant departure from the direct stimulus checks that characterized earlier pandemic relief efforts. Instead, Trump is focusing on long-term structural changes to the tax code that he believes will foster a more robust and dynamic economy. One of the cornerstones of Trump's tax plan is the elimination of federal taxes on tips, overtime pay, and Social Security benefits for certain income brackets. This move is designed to provide immediate relief to low and middle-income workers who rely on these sources of income. By reducing the tax burden on these individuals, Trump aims to boost consumer spending and stimulate economic activity. In addition to these targeted tax cuts, Trump is also proposing broader measures to incentivize investment and job creation. One such proposal is to allow interest write-offs for loans used to purchase American-made cars. This measure is intended to support the domestic auto industry and encourage consumers to buy American-made products. By making it more affordable to purchase cars, Trump hopes to boost demand and create manufacturing jobs. Another key element of Trump's tax plan is the elimination of the $10,000 cap on state and local tax, SALT deductions. This cap, which was enacted as part of the 2017 tax cuts, disproportionately affects taxpayers in high-tax states, many of which are located in Democratic strongholds. By eliminating the cap, Trump is seeking to provide tax relief to these taxpayers and potentially garner support from moderate Democrats in Congress. Trump's tax relief proposals are likely to be met with mixed reactions. Supporters argue that these measures will unleash economic growth, create jobs, and increase wages for all Americans. Critics, however, contend that these tax cuts will primarily benefit the wealthy and corporations, exacerbating income inequality and doing little to stimulate broad-based economic growth. The debate over Trump's tax plan is sure to be contentious and will likely play a central role in the 2026 midterm elections. As with any major economic policy shift, Trump's new stimulus plan comes with its share of potential risks and political challenges. One of the most pressing concerns is the potential for increased inflation. While the Federal Reserve is actively working to control inflation through interest rate hikes, some economists worry that Trump's proposed tax cuts and tariffs could undermine these efforts. The memory of Trump's previous tariffs on Chinese goods and steel and aluminum imports during his first term looms large in this debate. Those tariffs, while intended to protect American jobs and industries, ultimately contributed to higher prices for consumers and businesses. Critics fear that Trump's proposed new tariffs could similarly backfire, fueling inflation and eroding the purchasing power of American families. Beyond the economic risks, Trump also faces a complex political landscape in his quest to enact his stimulus plan. While Republicans control both houses of Congress, their support for Trump's agenda is not uniform. Some fiscal conservatives within the party are wary of the potential impact of tax cuts on the national debt and may balk at certain aspects of Trump's plan. Moreover, outgoing President Biden's recent reflections on the impact of stimulus checks have further complicated the political calculus. Biden, while acknowledging the economic achievements of his administration, has expressed regret for not signing additional COVID stimulus checks like Trump did during his first term. This suggests that direct payments, despite their potential inflationary risks, hold a certain political appeal that cannot be ignored. Navigating these inflationary risks and political complexities will require careful planning and strategic maneuvering from the Trump administration. Building consensus within his own party, potentially courting moderate Democrats, and effectively communicating the benefits of his plan to the American people will be crucial to its success. Whether Trump can overcome these obstacles and deliver on his promise of economic prosperity remains to be seen. One thing is certain, the stakes are high, and the outcome will have far-reaching consequences for the American economy and the political landscape for years to come.